Welcome back, everybody, to our weekly energy update for energetically sensitives and empaths. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energetically trained life coach and healer. So my job here is to give you an overview, not a prediction, but an overview of the energies that are going on in the collective so that it might be easier for you to contextualize what it is that you are experiencing. Now, I'm live on Instagram and Facebook. Don't mind my eyes wandering back and forth. I am live from Germany today, which is a bit unusual, but sometimes I have to travel. How are you guys doing? These live updates are there for you to be able to reflect, also maybe to see what other people have to share, how they're doing, how you're doing with these energies right now. If you are looking at the barometer here, which is not a prediction, it is merely an intensity meter, if you will. So the energies coming in here 25th till 31st of August actually indicate that it's going to be a lot easier for all of us. So guys, yes, I'm always happy to be the conveyor of good news. These last weeks were rough on all of us, and I know that many of you are having hard times sleeping, hard times just sort of dealing with the insanity of stuff that is going on out there. And it does take a warrior of the heart, to withstand that insanity. It really does. So a lot of this energy work and energy healing that we do here at transCODES has to do with connecting with the heart, with heart-based consciousness work. So without really knowing who you are and what your heart's guidance is, it's very difficult to make sense of any of these things. And so next week, while it's bringing in a little less sort of friction with the outside world, it will still challenge you in a way that you will have to find your stance with reality. And this will bring up a lot of stuff in regards to how other people see me, how other people judge me, how this is perceived, what you're doing. All right, so you're going to have to find this balance between standing your own ground, walking your own way, walking your own talk, and simultaneously understanding that, people around you get challenged by you. So by you taking the liberty to do what it is that you need to do, to say what it is that you need to say, other people get into trouble with this. And this is something that I wanted to illuminate with you here today, because this isn't necessarily something that we have on our radar. We are so concerned about the other people's judgments and, of course, our own judgments that we sometimes forget that there is a reality here, okay? No matter how you twist or turn it, it's not okay. It doesn't matter what has led to you being in this situation, in these circumstances. If they are toxic, they are toxic. This needs to be changed. And what is it really that keeps us from changing? Well, if you have been coming here to these weekly energy updates, or if you're one of our Sacred Self-Healing members that works with me directly, where we have webinars every 2 weeks, where we do workshops together and so forth, and illuminate these deeper aspects of self-discovery. Not even necessarily spirituality. Spirituality is just a part of this whole sort of growing or becoming into our own true self. Yeah, Tracy, that's exactly what it is. Being judged for speaking your truth. And we talked a little bit about this in this last couple of weeks. You've got to understand that it's not actually the truth that you're speaking, or that it is you who's being attacked, but it is the truth that challenges the other people. So if you are in your truth, say, and you do something or say something that is, that has a common sense to it, but that is something that other people are not actually able to do, all right? I can't come up with an example right now, but if you guys have an example, please share this with me. say you quit your job because your job is really bad for you, even if the pay is good. But a lot of you guys work in bad jobs with bad pay. Okay, it's one thing, to get a lot of money for bad, say, circumstances or, team and so forth. But it's another thing to actually get crappy pay for that as well. But let's just say one of these aspects, all right, and you decide, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to quit this job because this isn't what I'm in here for. This isn't what my life is for. All right, this really, really challenges other people. This really, really, makes them feel like they're doing something wrong or they're not seeing something that you're seeing, which quite frankly is the case. It is, but it is not that they cannot see it. It's just that their contextualization, what it means to them, the meaning they give to this, is a different one for them than it is for you. And so everyone who challenges our views, everyone who challenges our approach, becomes a potential threat. So I say this to people a lot when you choose to be on your personal journey and you think it's all private thing, and you start liberating yourself from things that are no longer good for you, you suddenly get all this judgment and all this commentary from other people, and it's like you've attacked them with your own choices. But in reality what it is that there's something there that they're not facing, and by you facing it, you are challenging them. So it's not that you are attacking them, it's that what you are doing is actually what they want to do, but they don't dare to do it. So a lot of this truth energy that is coming in here right now has to do with the willingness to see truth, with the willingness to be real. All right? And this isn't easy, guys. If it was so easy, it's simple, but it isn't easy. So if it was that easy, okay, everybody would be in truth. But because it challenges us, because it challenges the comfort zone of our ego, and your ego, I really want you to understand, I'm not talking just about egotistical behaviors when I talk about ego. I'm talking about the part in us that's supposed to keep us safe. And what most of us don't understand, sorry guys, I'm going to have to move you here a little bit. What most of us don't understand is that our ego is not there to make us happy. Our ego is merely there to keep us safe. Do you understand what this means? If you listen to your ego, and especially when it comes to new decisions or changes, your ego will always guide you to trying to do things the same way you did before, the things that are most familiar. And unfortunately, the things that are most familiar are typically the things that make us unhappy. They're the things that are toxic. They're the things that keep us restricted. They're the things that make us keep the ball low, not to stir up anything, whether it's, our partners or our bosses or our children, or our parents, it's what keeps the status quo where it's at. And this is where we get restricted through our ego. We think that keeping things the way they are, holding on to it white-knuckled, is what's going to make us happy. And that is not the case. Holding on to what we have can only bring the same results or worse than we have, received, so to speak. So when it comes to looking into your future and looking into, wanting to have a different way of living, be it a different job or a different relationship or a loving relationship, or living in a place or just having a lifestyle that is more conducive or more nurturing for you and more expressive for you, you have to understand that your ego is not on your side. Your ego will be the one that is being challenged. It will work against you, not because it's dumb or because it's evil or because it's your enemy, simply because there is something very, very frightening about doing something new. And here's where you got to be careful, guys, because your ego will always, always advise you to go the safe route, not the most conducive route, not the route necessarily that makes you the most happy. Okay, so understand this. The science of making changes, guys, is a very particular one. You cannot make change until, and this is literally the way the ego functions, make changes until the pain of staying where you're at becomes greater than the fear of the unknown, of the uncertainty that comes with changing things. This is something really important that you need to understand. Yeah, Tracy, go to work. Have a wonderful day. So good to see you. It's really important to understand. There's another thing that you need to understand about your ego, and that is that, especially when you're on this spiritual path, you're looking for these like super, super high vibe, high vibratory solutions for simple problems, okay? And that's a mistake because, when you're in a toxic relationship, there simply isn't a higher vibratory solution for that. So you're going to have to let go of trying to find the higher route, because when the overall level of where you're at is so low, then there is no higher route, okay? Then the only way to actually step onto the higher route or make that quantum leap to the higher route is to let go of what it is that you're holding on to. And this is exactly where the ego comes in. The ego tricks you in trying to find the more spiritual way of dealing with this. But some things cannot be dealt with spiritually, guys. You have to understand this. There's a 3D pragmatism to things. All right. When you are in an abusive relationship or in a workplace where there's a lot of toxicity, be it through the boss or through the co-workers, or be it through you being, taken advantage of, not getting enough pay for the work that you do, and so forth, there is no higher vibratory solution for that. You're going to have to quit. You're going to have to leave. And yes, sometimes you're going to have to leave without having a new job, because by agreeing to this, by agreeing to these toxic conditions, you are basically sending the message into the universe that you're okay with all this sort of self-degrading and self-minimizing, self-restricting conditions. So if you want a different future, guys, you're going to have to look at yourself from basically through the same eyes that the future looks at you. The future looks at you and says, oh, so she's in this right now. Oh, apparently she must be liking this because she's holding on to this. So I'm going to give her more of this. You understand? If you want your future to be different, first of all, you're going to have to make clear statements as to what is acceptable for you and what isn't. You don't have to have a plan. You don't have to have it all figured out yet. A lot of times we don't have things figured out yet, especially when it's long-term situations. When it's long-term situations, all we can do is like a cut. Yeah, cut. I no longer agree to this. I don't have an answer yet. I don't have a solution yet. But I trust in my heart's inner guidance that as soon as I liberate myself from the things that are tying me in, that are tying me down, that are restricting me, new energy is going to be released, is going to be available for me, so that I can see more options, so that I can see that I have a choice. And this is what living in truth really means, guys. Not to the waterfalls and the unicorns. Of course, they're a part of it. This comes in as well. I don't want you to believe that, I don't sometimes see waterfalls and unicorns. They're there, But this isn't the point. The point is that you need to participate in your life. All right? The unicorns and waterfalls are not going to rescue you. They're just there. That's a place that is there. It's an energetic realm that is accessible for you. But you cannot access that when you agree to limiting circumstances, when you agree to a toxic life, that is a higher vibratory place. And in order to enter these higher vibratory places, guys, you got to get your reality down. Okay? You got to show up for reality, because this is what you came here for. That's part of your soul contract, guys. You came here into this 3D realm for a reason. Okay? If you just wanted bliss in all eternity, you would have stayed the soul being that you are. Okay? But you didn't. You chose to be here, to incarnate into this life, into this time here right now, with all these challenges that we have, with all these big subjects that are going on right now in politics, in environment, in financial markets, in social areas, how we live together, how we're going to do this together here as a human race. And you decided, this part of you decided to be here at this time with this spiritual and this energetic awakening that we are all going through, ready or not. Okay, so your job is not to make reality fit your illusion. Your job is to fit into the reality that you're in and start working at it as a co-creator. Start seeing that you, the soul being in you, the true self, as we call this, the inner divinity that you have, is the part that actually has choices and that can liberate itself from some of the limitations. You cannot liberate yourself from your body. You cannot liberate yourself from your emotions. You can't even liberate yourself from your thoughts, guys. Thinkingness is part of the human, well, neurology, really, if you will. This is part of our physiology. So the body, the emotions, and the mind are part of this 3D existence. Okay? And so is the ego. The ego has the body, the emotions, and the mind as its ally. But your spiritual self, your true self, is not bound to this 3D realm. And this is where a lot of you guys get in trouble. Okay? You believe that you can just cut yourself off from all these other things and, sort of live your life according to the highest spiritual paradigm that you can already sense, that you can already understand. And there's nothing wrong with having that ideal, but it's an idealization, guys. And idealization gets you into trouble here, because that's why your ego comes in and says, ha, I've got this figured out. I just ignore all the things that are going on in 3D and I just think my way into my future. And yeah, how well is that going for you? Who of you has issues with, reality sort of matching up with, sort of the spiritual paradigm that you live in? Sandy, I see you taking a leap of faith. Wonderful. You know why I'm saying wonderful? Because this challenge, challenging your ego is what's going to make you grow. You're relocating into another country and leaving your toxic work environment. Congratulations. Yes, I understand there was a lot of safety there. You worked there for 20 years. And yet it was still toxic. I congratulate you. I know for sure that this is going to make you grow. I know for sure, Sandy, that this is going to be the right step. It will still be frightening a bit. There's a lot of uncertainty with this. But it will also invigorate you. It will inspire you. It will be like a quickening for your energy. And then suddenly you will see that you have a lot more options than you thought you had. So wonderful. Your pain now is no longer greater than the fear. You're facing the fear, and therefore you don't need the pain anymore. This is how this goes, guys. So letting go is what makes you grow. Wonderful. Yes, so, okay. So there's 3D aspects with the residency and all this. But all these are things that can work itself out. Yeah. Hey, Justin, I see you. So don't be afraid, guys, of letting go of a perceived safety, okay? Because that is not what liberates you. That is not, I mean, I'm not saying that you have to throw everything down the drain or, that's not the point. The point is that if you've already identified that something is toxic for you or that it restricts you, then you have no other choice. You need to be practical. There's a common sense about things. And as spiritual as I love seeing the world and I love talking about spiritual stuff, guys, but it's also my job to get you back into reality, to do this reality check with you. Okay? This kind of spirituality that we are developing here is a practical spirituality that needs us to integrate our physical, our emotional, our mental, intellectual, our behavioral, and our spiritual and energetic bodies. We have to bring this together. This is what we came here for. And what we need to understand is that everything really is just energy. Money is energy, love is energy, your physical being is energy, your emotional state, even your thoughts are just energy. It's a bit more complex, of course. We teach this here at transCODES. There are fields involved and resonances and all kinds of things, all right? But once you see everything as a level of energy, and when you're low, you recognize that this is a low energetic state and that this energetic state or this energy can be changed. It needs to be raised into vibration. Even a small, tiny little small raise in your vibration can shift your emotions, can shift your physical, can heal your physical, can shift how you think about things, how you see things. And as soon as you see things differently, you see that you have more choices than you thought you had, and your decision making becomes better. So I've called this week's energy update reality check because it's so important to go into this pragmatic stance. And since we're coming out of a week, so currently we're still going through what I called integration. Okay, this will continue in the next week, but more so in this way that we can really unify all these different parts in us, the different thoughts, the views, the emotions, and see things for what they are. Really seeing things for what they are. And this then allows us to look into a future that matches up with how we want our future to be, with how we want our future to look at us. Guys, please share, please comment, all right? This is for you to ask questions. I'd love to hear from you how you guys are dealing with current energies. And if you want to know more every week, go to my Patreon channel. I am now after recording the energy tips for this next week, 35, that goes deeper into the collective, into the chakras that are involved, into the physical, emotional, mental, social, spiritual, and energetic levels that will be sort of triggered here for us next week, and how to deal with this the best. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. Share the videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course, if you would like a written report, please subscribe to my email list. All right, the written report always has infographics and often other aspects too, because I write the written report a little bit after. As most of you know, these energy updates are not scripted. So sometimes as I am writing, I see other aspects. Thank you for coming, guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.